Good morning, folks. We're here. Old Beekman took us to the Minehill distillery. You look up on the side of the building there, you see an old steel wheel. We're in Roxbury, Connecticut. We got Paulie with us today.
Howdy.
And we stumbled upon the old Roxbury station, which is now Minehill distillery. We've done a few videos on this, Mr. Terry and I, and we're actually going to look at a truck. Shh, don't tell Beekman. And we're on this road here. We're only about 10 minutes from the truck, but we thought we'd stop and check this out. Glad to see it's still here from the last video we did. Go around back here. So we're on the Chippewa, Litchfield, and Northern that was chartered as the Chippewa Valley Railroad in 1868. How many of you listening and watching were born then in 1868? Oh, here it is. We're on the main line right now, right down past those totes and right on past that car over there. Get off the tracks, car. Operated as the Chippewa Valley from 1872 to 1891. Then it was taken over by the Housatonic. 1898, Housatonic was all done, and it was taken over by the New York, New Haven, and Hartford. Then it was called the Litchfield division of the New Haven line. It was abandoned in 1948 when those vicious, mean, vile truckers took over the milk business. I still catch flack from the old guys about that. Minehill Distillery here in Roxbury, Connecticut. Quick stop. We're going to be doing some more today. We'll get it on film for you and we'll get back to you. There they are, folks, the drill marks that we all love. We are in Washington Depot, Connecticut, on the Chippewa, Litchfield, and Northern. And I've shown you these abutments in previous videos. We're just back today. By the way, we looked at the truck and we're here to report. What are we here to report, Paulie?
She needs a little TLC.
A lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna pass on the truck.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But anyway, so we kind of laughed and joked and said, well, that was the work part of our day. Now let's start the play part of our day, and that's going out and looking at some railroad stuff. That building right there is what's left of the renovated former Washington Depot station. It is now the American Legion Hall. We're not quite sure on which roof style. Maybe the four-way hip might have been the original, maybe the back part was original, but that is the original station, which used to be, of course, this is main line right here. Oh, right over here. When they shut down, they moved the station. Beekman is, we had to wipe tears from the headlights of Beekman because he found out we were going to look at another truck.
But
so,
now there were tears of joy that we're keeping them.
Tears of joy.
We're keeping Beekman.
Beekman has got to at least get us back home today. Yeah, so the original station was right here. Not sure if it was where this bank is or in between, or maybe where the white building was, but it was right here. This was Town Square. This was the railroad station that we're walking on, and the creamery was right up there off to that side, and Washington Supply, the old lumber yard, was there, and there were several sidings in there. Washington Depot, Connecticut. Stand next to that, Paul. Let's get some reference. Either Paul's a really tall guy or that's a cute little replica. That is a cool little truck. That must be the company that makes it. Zaire Limited, USA International. Gosh, I'd love to have a little truck like that sitting out in front of my house. Put pumpkins in it at Halloween time. Built pretty good too.
Yeah. It's more solid than the truck we just
Yeah. Yeah. This is in better shape than the truck we just looked at. So, Beekman's on the road. Right up yonder was the Washington House. This is the Chippewa River. These are the abutments where the suspension bridge was that went from the rail bed, which is right there, and there was a station right there. Washington Station, Washington House Station, I think it was called. I'll have to go back and look. But there was a suspension bridge, Paul, built over this river that, if my memory serves me right, was designed and built by Roebling, who built the Brooklyn Bridge.
Oh,
Ha!
nice.
Right there. River looks clear today. Almost makes me want to go stick the GoPro down in there. Nope.
No, don't do that.
All right, unlike when Terry and I were here, Paul and I drove in. We parked Beekman about 3/4 of the way into the tunnel. And Paulie's up there checking out this abutment, culvert. And I think this is the one with the date stamp on it. Go in the river here. Today's Sunday. I haven't been arrested on a Sunday. No date stamp on this one. So this is New Haven. Yeah, Paul, when you're done up there, come on down under and I'll show you the difference here. I'll show you the time transformation from original Chippewa, which is this stonework. The arch stone is original Chippewa, and when New Haven took it over, probably the advent of concrete was 1905-ish to 1912-ish. See, you're underneath original Chippewa stone arch, and then they retrofitted around it and of course made it wider to accommodate the New Haven. Now here's an interesting fun fact, as the kids like to say. The Chippewa, Litchfield and Northern actually saw the dieselization of locomotives for almost a year and a half, between 47 and 48 plus, almost into 49 when they shut down and abandoned. They ran some small switcher type engines on here. It would be nice to find a roster of New Haven's Litchfield division diesels as an Alco fan, to see if they were Alcos or not. Yep, right there. Original
There's rails.
Chippewa stone arch.
There's rail, ain't it?
And that's rail. That's what they did on all these, on a lot of them. I shouldn't say all, but on a lot of these old, Oak Ridge, Oak Summit, outside of Millbrook,
yep,
on the Newburgh Duchess in Connecticut, you'll find a lot of this, where the railroad used rails to reinforce their bridges. Now, if you did take a battery powered cordless grinder with a buffing wheel on it and you went through any length of this, you would find date stamps and manufacturers. This is steel rail. This is not cast iron, so this is probably, judging on the size of that girth right there, this is probably 80-pound rail, maybe 90. Yep. The trickling water. Uh-oh. Right here, the culvert we were just under connects to this tunnel road, and in about 100 feet here we will be walking on the bed. Thus far we've driven in on and been walking on tunnel road. Tunnel's this way. Let's go, kids. Mother Nature claiming her stake in a piece of iron. Right back there is a culvert we were under. We are now on the Chippewa, Litchfield and Northern bed. Litchfield Division, New Haven. Tunnel road. Railroad corridor. Mother Nature reclaiming a piece of wood in this instance. That would be where the bolt would be through. This tree is a hemlock, and it's not old enough to have been here back to 1948, so that's relatively modern. I would say that tree is 35, 40 years old.
Oh, right there.
Railroad ties.
Yep.
Stone culvert capped with concrete. Hey Paul. Hey Paul.
What we got?
I'm almost looking at a square here with some sort of a symbol here. My eye's playing tricks with me.
No, there's definitely something there.
Yeah. Well, anyway, let's see. No big bear. But that goes all the way down to the other side. These big stone lentil stones here. Lentil stones are the ones, of course, that hold up the weight. This is original Chippewa culvert. Hey, how tall are you?
6 foot, 6'1".
Yeah, me too. How are we going to get under that?
Ah, damn.
Help us out, folks. There's one, kids. For all you telegraph pole guys and girls out there. And as we've talked about, they always rot from the inside out because they were cedar. So now we know, Paul, telegraph poles were on this side of the bed, on the uphill side.
Yeah.
There you go. And here. Bring that home with you. That's a chunk of coal from the turn of the century, Chippewa. Definite hill climbs going on here. I see the knobby tires. I'm jealous. Oh, it's nice to be back. And for Paul, it's nice to be here for the first time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So this is what's left of Tunnel Road. Would have come to here. Had we kept driving Beekman, we would have ended up right here. Of course, corridor and the tunnel. Let's go. I've probably been in, since I've started filming here,
Good morning.
oh, 5 or 6, maybe 7 tunnels. But this is the 3rd time for me being through here, and I can't get enough of this one. It's a cute little tunnel, and it's on a curve. They dug this. I don't have my specs in front of me, and I can't remember because I'm getting old, but look at those drill marks. I believe they brought in a group of workers from Pennsylvania to hand drill and hand dig this. And I think they did it in record time. That's looking north. That's looking south. Can you hear that? Perfectly quiet. This is Paul's first railroad tunnel. He's got a smile from ear to ear.
You can't see it in the dark, yes.
Can't see it in the dark. Yeah, this is cool. And they dug it on a turn, on a curve. Yeah, I tell my buddy Cliff this sign is here all the time. I'm going to take it for him, but he's pretty stable. So here it is. They're They're working their way up from Hollyville, Danbury area, and they're coming up and they hit this spot. And the boss man says, he just stands there and puts his hands on his hips and says, "Oh crap, what do we do now?" "Hold my beer, boss. I got a group of guys from Pennsylvania that'll make this happen." And they did. Back through. Again, I have the specs at home, but it's 138 feet long, something like that. It's 178 feet long. Not a very long one.
There's another one.
We got ties. And check this out. This is probably an upgrade from New Haven days. But right there is a 1-inch thick iron culvert. See it here?
Mm-hmm.
It's a good 1-inch thick, like a 12-inch. That's New Haven upgrade.
There's the bill end.
So, makes me think here, which is a scary thing, me thinking, was the original Chippewa clay and New Haven replaced it with iron? It would be right up there, right across there. Or is this a coincidence? You guys tell me. That's definitely the hub end right there. Clay tile. And it is odd and coincidental that it's right here by a culvert. Yep, could be original Chippewa. All right, well, we're coming down the... Oh, this is a big long one here. And we're in almost October here, but it's kind of warm and muggy, so there could be snakes still not quite ready for hibernation. Oh, look at that beauty. Look at that piece. I bet it was iron underneath the rail bed to support the weight of the trains, and it was probably clay from here on down, which is why Paul's got more pieces down there.
Yep.
Which is why these pieces are here. It was just an above ground clay pipe funneling the water down. That's why all these pieces are. That's a nice one right there. There's another piece.
Some in here.
Yep. Oh. Yep, you got to get off the beaten track to find this cool stuff, which is cool to us, but you know, some people just don't care, right?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Can you see that, kids? That's why you metal detect every tree before it goes onto your sawmill. That's a big old piece of iron braided cable on this hemlock that goes way up there to the sky. It's dead because this girdled it and killed it. But we're on the bed, right next to the bed. Hey, look, everybody drives in today. Must be Sunday drive into the tunnel day. We came down from up on top of the bed, down the bank. We didn't fall or get hurt or killed, don't worry. And this is the downhill side of the one a few clips ago. We were way up there. I can't, and I know most of you guys and gals that comment on these videos can't get enough of the old stonework. I just love it. Look at that, how gorgeous that is. Oh, great. And then you got this. This is where we evolved. That's evolution? No. We're back up top on the bed. We're walking. Always looking for stuff.
Ah!
What do you got?
Found.
Oh, there's another telegraph pole base. Man, you got good eyes. Look, that's a good size one.
Yeah.
Woo. There you go, kids.
Number 2.
That's part of railroad history. To most people, it's a piece of dead rotting wood in the woods. Look, I just reconstructed it. But that's a piece, that's an old cedar tree that was at one point, now at one point it was a telegraph pole with a cross arm with insulators on it. Sometimes, Paul, I have looked around and found the cross arms and found traces of broken glass. Most of the time they were shot out by dummies like me with their 22s back in the 60s. But there you go. There's the second one of the day. Good find. All right, part of the mystique is this was originally here, and I started finding pieces of slag and ballast and, yes, coal. And I saw this piece and I kicked it and it went like that, and then I flipped it and I said, oh boy, that is a clunker that was dumped out of a, look at that. Yep. See that letter F? That doesn't mean Fred. That was part of a brick, an actual man-made brick, clay brick. And it had the rest of the wording here. This would have come out like that. Now that, I'm speculating here because I don't know. And I always get in trouble with Katie, the editor-in-chief, when I do that. If you don't know, don't say. But what do you guys think? F for Fred. Obviously part of a larger chunk, and it had the dates, the name stamp of the foundry that it was made in. And it's up here on this little slight berm right here. That's the rail bed. It was dug out of this little fill cut section and made this berm. We were actually, whoops, that got cut off. We were actually up on here looking for yet another telegraph pole base, because the other one was back on that side, big high cliff over there, so we figured it probably jumped over here, but we haven't found one yet.
Stand by.
Stand by. We were walking on the bed, and it was right after we found that chunk of old brick with the F on it, and I said to Paul, hey, we haven't passed Beekman yet, have we? He just matter-of-factly looked at me and said, yeah, I was about a quarter of a mile back. I didn't want to say anything. So we're back on the tunnel road, walking backwards towards Beekman. It's all good, kids, all good. To go from beautiful hand-laid stone with drill marks in it to 1-inch thick iron pipes, to clay tiles, to modern corrugated metal, to plastic, and they call that progress. Back in the good old days with Sam the Silver Car, I used to say, don't get stolen, and I'd walk off, and look, Beekman picked up where Sam left off. He's still here. Horses on the train bed. You know what this is?
I haven't thought yet.
That's an iron-wheeled, one-wheeled push cart. These spokes would tell me early 30s, late 20s. This would be the equivalent of a wheelbarrow. So it's upside down right now. This would be your pivot point when you got and you tipped it up on that and dumped your load. The bucket barrel would have been here. This is sitting upside down. This is a one-wheeled. This is definitely period correct for the railroad. Wow, good freaking eyes, Paul. He saw that from the truck from way over there. I got a long chain on the truck.
You want to pull it out?
Oh, do I want to pull it out? Yes. Are we going to? I probably haven't. What's today? What, Sunday?
Sunday.
Yeah, I've been arrested twice on a Sunday. I don't want to go for number 3. But yeah, that's what that is. That is a period correct. Some sort of an old one-wheeled push cart, wheelbarrow type thing, because the bed's right up there. And this is a big flat area here. This is a big flat area here. I noticed it walking in, and it would make sense that perhaps, like you started saying, an old donkey rig was sitting here to excavate or to pull out.
Yeah.
And that could be part of the wreckage that's left of it. Not wreckage, but part of the old machinery that's left. Good eyes. See, that's why it's good to have young people on these adventures instead of guys with eyes like me that I just fell. Might be hard to tell from the video, but this is all burned and charred wood and metal and iron, and almost as if there was a building here, which would account for this. Of course, this is Tunnel Road, which was owned and controlled by the railroad at the time. And this might have been some sort of a landing zone with a small building, maybe a section house type of a deal. But at any rate, that piece right there is cool. And the answer is yes, I do want to back in here and pull it out with my chain, but I think we'd get in trouble. I don't know any police officers over here. Ah, modern. Okay, enough of this conjecturing. We found the crossover. Concrete abutment, New Haven days, and over yonder, right there, is the one on the west shore of the Chippewa. Paul keeps saying Connecticut's got to up their game on the naming of waterways, right? In New York, a river is like the Hudson River, and this is a river. He said this ain't nothing but a babbling brook. So all you Connecticut folks, tell him he's wrong. Tell him he's wrong. That's original Chippewa stonework right there, and more than likely that one right there, because it's got the drill marks in it. But the concrete is definitely upgraded. There's another one over there. See it? Whoa, I went in. Ugh.
Yep, right there.
There's more right there of the original stonework abutments for the crossing of the Chippewa, Litchfield, and Northern over the Chippewa River to cross Tunnel Road and eventually go through the tunnel. So this is all washed out. Now there may have been, and there probably was, your wooden bridge at first, and then maybe probably iron, and then it would have gone to grade up there. But this is 100% over the decades and decades washed out. Oh yeah, there's one. Wow. Look at that. Standing on history here.
Yes, sir.
We are satisfying the drill marks folks today and the telegraph pole folks today. This is a beautiful spot. I'd love to have a log cabin right over on that side. No, I wouldn't, because there'd be people walking in my front yard every day. Here we are back at the River Alliance of Connecticut, aka Litchfield train station. These are new additions. These were not here 2 or 3 years ago. Looks like they're doing some maybe station restoration. And look, it's not that hideous green anymore. It's almost brown. What would you call that, brown or red?
Brick red.
I would call that almost Tuscan red, wouldn't you? Pennsylvania Tuscan red? Redoing her. Let's see. They're Bettendorf's. Front trucks here. These are newer. These are probably 30s. Well, they do have the manual brake rods. Down yonder was the yard. There was a turntable. There was a coaling station.
Ties.
Ties here. Let's go down and see if the brush isn't too deep and thick and snake infested. If we can find, when Terry and I were here, we found pieces of iron machinery left over from the coaling yard. Paulie and I took a couple of lefts where we should have gone right. We got lost and we ended up here. Thomaston, Connecticut. Today is a Sunday and I guess they're not running because there's no cars in the parking lot here. This is an old vintage milk car. Oh, if this old coach could talk, the stories she'd tell. Portland, Maine. Southbound, northbound to Torrington. We did literally get lost when I realized where we were. I said, hey, you want to see one more thing today? Paulie said, no.
I'd say their hook's in a little better shape than ours, huh?
Paying homage to Tim Reed. Yeah, their crane is in a little better than ours. Yep. Well, must be up in Torrington, but there's no cars in the parking lot here. Let's go up to the station and see if we can find any literature or paperwork or a sign in the window that says what in the heck is going on here. Switch box. I'll have to check, but I know this station here, she went through a horrible experience years back. I'm not sure if it was a flood or a fire. I think it was a fire. That would make more sense. But it's all rebuilt now. Old Dodge REA. Milkers.
Model Railroad.
Model Railroad. Yeah. Okay, so I don't see any September dates. So we're still in September, so guess what? We're out of luck. Canadian National speeder. It's a Fairmont, I think. It's a Fairmont. Pedal bike. Alco SW1. She would look mighty fine coupled up to our little S1 that we're redoing in Phoenicia. Now, wouldn't she? I've always loved about the S1 SWs are these gigantic. You could hold a party on the back flat deck here. This is a little switcher critter from, we're guessing, the Hartford Electric Light Company. Maybe this fell over, maybe this tells us what it was. Oh, safety first, not climb on the cars. Main Central. I wonder if this is a Russell. Is this a Russell?
What's that?
Is this a Russell snowplow?
I didn't see.
Built in October of 1923. They used to tank these tank cars when they were decommissioned, and they would strip them down and remove the tank body from the frame and the trucks, and they would cut the ends off and make culverts out of them.
B&O?
Culvert would last forever. Yep. Union tank. There's where your hazard placards would be. Built in 1930, an old wood-bodied, exterior braced boxcar. Boston and Maine. Every time I see a red, white, and blue State of Maine products boxcar, I think about potatoes. Sorry, potatoes.
Yes, sir.
Montreal, America. This is one of the towns that built America right there. Got some ghost writing up there. Big gantry cranes in there. Black car and an old, oh, that's an oldie. That's an old, that might be an auto hauler. Yeah. There's the main line right there, Noggy.